we go. Hello, my friends. How are you doing? Thanks for joining me. Can you hear me? I think you can, right? That should be okay. Hi, Eric. Thanks for joining from Vienna Meidling. And hi, John. Where are you from? Hi. Thanks for joining. Let's start this. And behind me is one of my photos that I took in Barcelona. Look at that. Can you see that? No, wrong side. Let's go like this. Okay. I will do a video very soon about that. So you can see all the other, or not all of them, but a choice of the photos I took, and also a video on, me shooting. So yeah, and I will talk about why I took the shot like that, maybe also why I edited it like that, stuff like that. Yeah. All right, and today we're gonna edit some of your photos, of course. I asked you in the weekly challenge to send me some of your raw files so we can look into that. And we're gonna talk, this time I thought I post a question for the live stream, right? So the question is there like a perfect camera? Is it a perfect camera for you, or in general, or for the work process, stuff like that? So yeah, that's the topic for today. Let's check out the... John is from England. Hi. Hi, Chapwin from the USA. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. What is VA again? VA Vancouver? No, VA is what? Is it? I have no idea. Okay. A little bit of coffee. Cheers. Oh, wow. There's a lot of reflection here from the green of the green screen, apparently, I guess. Or something else, probably overexposure. Let's see. Perfect camera. There isn't, because everyone has different needs for a camera. Yeah, but is there a perfect camera for you, right? Doesn't have to be for everybody, right? Can be for you, or I don't know. It's different kinds of answers to that, right? Depending on what you do or what you aim for, or like, I like to use a lot of different cameras. Let me turn off my phone sound here. But I also know that when you have too much equipment, it can be overwhelming. Virginia. Okay, Virginia. I think Vancouver is a city, right? It's not a... Wow. And it's also in... Let me check this. Yeah, it's in Canada also. Okay. Oh, wow. I missed that one pretty hard. All right. Or messed it up. It's the camera you have. Yeah, but what kind of camera is that? So let's talk about these kind of things, right? I think that's kind of an interesting topic to figure that out. I think also, I don't know about you, but maybe you also have this kind of thing where you think, oh, maybe I should have this and that extra gear and that kind of thing, and maybe this camera is better. So also when you decide on getting a camera system, buying into a camera family, because you have all these lenses, which personally I don't understand why they can't have a universal connector for all cameras. Why does every brand have a different way to attach the lens to the camera? It doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe it's how it's built on the inside, but couldn't they figure out something that's more universal, Anyways, yeah. And there's a lot of different ways you can photograph, and a lot of ways what you can do with a camera, right? And also, of course, it's not just like the modern cameras we have today. You can photograph with anything, like they say with the shoebox camera. You can basically make a camera out of a can of beer, right? Stuff like that. So there's a lot of different possibilities. Hidden cameras also a way. So it really depends on where you want to go, what you want to do with the photo shooting, right? I kind of wish there was a perfect camera that does a lot of things or all of the things. I kind of think that smartphones are getting closest to the perfect camera, not really the expensive mirrorless full frame cameras, because they are good at taking really high quality photos, but not good at anything else. And a smartphone is very, very good at anything else, right? And also how photography has changed, which is also part of the question of what is the perfect camera, is what are you doing with the pictures afterwards, right? Because often we only look at it on a screen, which has a lower resolution than print, and we also only look for it for a certain time, right? For a short moment, right? it's also interesting how much culture has changed through the way that we take pictures, right? Um, for example, if you think about why is it that suddenly every shop has to be designed, right? You go to the barber, it has to be a cool barber shop. You go to a coffee shop, has to be a cool coffee shop. You go and buy your bread, it has to be a cool bakery, because otherwise you can't take a picture. It's not getting shared. It's not part of your daily culture. And so it's just not like the same experience. You don't want that. So everything has changed, from the way we sell stuff to the way that we design everything, from food to clothing to all kinds of things. It has to be photo ready. Even art has changed. Art has become more photo involved, right? There's even now museums specifically built so you can photograph yourself in front of the artwork, and the artwork has to be good enough for that, right? Hi Joe, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Just Dude says, don't buy Panasonic DMC FZ 1000. Why? Why is that? Why don't you like that camera? Like, for example, as you know, I even made a video about that. I was a really big fan of Nikon cameras, but now I don't use Nikon cameras anymore, just because they're not good at filming. Not that I super film a lot with these cameras, but they are just not built for that. At least the one that I had wasn't, and it's kind of, I don't know. I wasn't happy. They feel like I felt like they are a little bit disconnected to the things you can do, the full range of things you can do. Sony felt a little bit more connected to that. And also a lot of my friends have Sony cameras, so I thought, yeah, maybe that's a good kind of choice. And also, every camera has its expression, and every camera has its kind of taste. By the way, I was watching a video some days ago about where they compare a large sensor camera. What is it? Let me look that up on YouTube real quick. I think it's 100 megapixels versus 12 megapixels. Yeah, I think that's it. And the 12 megapixel camera is Sony, and the other 102 megapixel camera is something else. And they have two photographers, and they should compare, what do you think is this, what do you think is that. And for me, it very clearly stood out which is the Sony camera, just because how Sony looks. Not depending on how sharp the image is. That is probably the downside of that test, is they should have used two cameras from the same brand, but they use cameras from different brands, and the pictures just don't look the same. Which is very interesting, that they have such a strong character. Like, Canon looks different from Nikon, looks different from Sony. I don't have much experience with Fuji, to be honest, but no shutter speed options and many of the basics. No shutter speed options? What? Why? Is it a smartphone? How can a camera not have any settings for... It doesn't have settings for the shutter speed? I can't believe that. That sounds strange. Okay. I agree on the John Inglis comment. What comment was that? Simple answer is the camera. Simple answer to this is there is no... okay. Yeah, but again, this isn't the question. Maybe I'm bad at asking questions, I think. That might be the thing. My questions are often formulated in a strange way, maybe. Thanks, Robert. What did Robert say? I agree. Okay. Roland says, hello from Diana and Roland in Cork. Hi, thanks for joining, Diana and Roland. All right. Fujifilm, Sony, and Canon do the best cameras. Today, maybe. Well, like I said, I went away from Nikon, from the, like, especially for filming, because they had these kind of focus breathing, and it was really loud. You hear it in the video when it's kind of focusing, which is also a thing today. The camera has to be basically completely silent when it focuses, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that go into the choices of what is the perfect camera for what you want to do, right? and how flexible it is or stuff like that. For example, the camera I have is very heavy with these, like if you have a full frame camera, there's also these factors like a full frame camera. The camera is expensive, and also all of the lenses are expensive that you buy afterwards because they are bigger and built in a different way, more expensive way, right? And all of that stuff is a lot more heavy than if you have an APS-C camera with a small lens on that, right? So that's also might be a factor, right? The best camera is the camera you can do your special photo job. I don't know what that means exactly. Can you rephrase that maybe? The best camera is the camera you can do your special photo job. Maybe so that the camera that is like best for the kind of photography you like. I guess is what you mean by that. Olivia, I've heard that EXR is the better choice as file format over JPEG. Any options on that? I have never heard of EXR. What is that? For example, when you have a bird shooting job, get the Sony A7 series. Is that better for nature photography? Really? The Sony A7 series? Interesting. EXR file format is a type of raster image file that stores image in open EXR format. Dynamic range developed industry. Light and Magic supports. I've not heard of that, and this has been around for 22 years. Interesting. Open EXR. I have to look into that. But I mean, it depends. I don't. Do cameras shoot in EXR? I've never heard about that. All right. Let's see what else. Robert says, for example, when you I already read that. Eric says, I love Canon. They have the best naturally skin colors. Yeah, Canon is known for being like having warm colors. My mother uses Canon cameras, and she really likes it, and she also takes really nice photos. Many bird and wildlife photographers still use DSLR. Why? Why would they do that? That's strange. Because on my Sony, I have a silent mode. You don't hear anything when it takes a photo. You don't even know if the photo was taken, other than the screen does a little blink or something that tells you a photo was taken. And you can also photograph high speed, so it goes, but you don't hear anything. So for wildlife, I think like that's a good option. With DSLR, I mean, you can pre-release the mirror, and maybe then it doesn't make sounds either. So I don't know about that. Robert says, when you are on a street photography job, use the Fuji film. But why? Give me some, like, put in some arguments. Why is that? Otherwise, it's just like a statement, but not really something to talk about, you know? Why Fujifilm is better for street photography? The camera is a tool. The best camera doesn't exist. I should have phrased that question differently. I'm already seeing that. That was a bad... I thought I make the question a little bit more edgy by putting best or perfect. I don't even know what is the title of the video. I forgot about that. Let me see in the group post here. Because I was thinking about different titles, so I kind of forgot what I put myself. The right camera. Is there a right camera? Right, there we go. Or I don't know, maybe the title of the stream is different. It doesn't show here, strangely enough, when I have my stream. Oh, there it says, what is a perfect camera? Okay. So the title is perfect camera, and then in the thumbnail it says the right camera. So that's interesting. Okay, anyways. And also like I feel like today a camera is more than just the gear, because like, again, if you think about a smartphone, you have all these apps and you have all these kind of automatic processing inside of the camera, and they're getting better and better over time. And so this very much transforms what you can do and when you can use a camera, because my smartphone, I can use it in the most complex of light situations and still get a good picture out of it. You can do a 3-second exposure freehand, no tripod, and you get a super crisp and nice photo, because somehow it's combining all these pictures it's taking and then editing it, and then you get a result that looks stunning. It's really amazing. I don't know how they do that. Or in very, very difficult light situations where you have a very bright sky and very dark shadows, and somehow it combines it and everything looks good in the shot. Like, of course, yes, HDR, but it's more than just HDR, because it also looks natural at the same time, which is really, really surprising. Steven says, I've been liking the Pentax colors. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, there's also the nice thing about these different cameras that they have. Like, I think more of the shops should like borrow you cameras, because most don't. They don't even borrow you a lens, at least not the shops that I know, where you can just use it for some days or something, or a week to see if you actually like it, if it's good enough, if it has the things that you like. And through the comparison, you often understand what is actually different at that camera, because just at looking at reviews and looking at pictures online, you can't really tell. You have to actually use it for yourself. Often, for example, the color science, like you said, a color science is really important for a camera, but also for a lens, for example. Different lenses have different colors and different textures and different structure in the picture, so it really has a very high impact on what kind of result you get from that, right? Because of the Fujifilm simulations. What? Do you mean in Photolab or something, or in Nik Collection? Does this mean the simulations, or does the camera do simulations of analog film inside of the camera? Like, you can choose when you're shooting what kind of film it should simulate. No other camera does that job. So it's in the camera. It's interesting. Hector says, Fuji is very nice camera. I'm using Sony for the versatility of video and photo, but deep inside, I'm a Canon lover. Okay. All right. That's interesting. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is also why I chose Sony, because it can do basically everything, like video and photo in a very good way. While the other cameras are often kindled to a certain to a certain purpose. I think maybe Sony is a little bit like the A7 III, a little bit more kindled to video, while the Canon cameras are a little bit more built for photography rather than video, but they are still also very good at video. Just Dude says, a smartphone is coming close, but it's not there yet. I still miss RAW. I think there's apps that promise that they extract the raw information from the chip, so you get an actual raw photo, but I'm not sure how true that is, and how good the quality of that raw is, because after all, it's just a very small sensor you have. So yeah, on the other hand, like I said, most of the pictures, they stay in social media. You look at them for 5 seconds and then they're gone. So really depends. And what I really want to see, and what personally I really don't understand about cameras, is why does it expose like an analog film? Why does the chip expose everything the same way? I don't understand that. It's a digital chip that can decide when it starts and stops taking light, because it's a machine. It's not a physical chemical reaction that's going on. So why can't they just, like, when the chip sees this is too bright or this is too dark, these areas of the chip take more or less light than other areas of the chip? Why is that not possible? You can do it with these new HDR TVs that can expose different pixels in a different way and show you like shadow darker and bright areas brighter than a normal TV would. Why can't the chip do that? I don't understand. I hope cameras come out that can do that and make it easier to do that, because it's kind of HDR thing where you have to take a bunch of pictures and combine it afterwards. It feels very old schooly today. I'm a bit behind on the comments. 1 second. Hector says, just Studio can shoot RAW with Lightroom Mobile. Really? I have to try that. I didn't know that can be done. Interesting. I will try that tomorrow. Robert says, I've been shooting No, I've been a Nikon shooter for 30 plus years. I love the Nikon colors. I would love to use that, but now I'm already inside of the Sony family. I feel the raw color is the most accurate and currently shot with the Z6, and while it may not have all the bells and whistles on par as Sony and Canon. I think like Nikon has a little bit of a cooler touch. I feel also it's a bit more realistic, but it's colder from the colors, and Canon is a little bit warmer. I always like the cool colors. And I think Sony is also a bit cool on the cool side and very technical, more technical than the other tools, the other two. Robert says, Olivia, you made an excellent movie with GoPro 10. You had a lot of fun and the output was nice. I think this is important. Yes, this is also a good choice. Like, you don't get like these kind of quality pictures you would get from a mirrorless, like big camera, from the resolution and the sharpness in detail when you zoom in. But for a social media post, for wowing the people you want to impress with your pictures, the GoPro is really nice, and you can take really very interesting photos also with these different modes they have, like super wide and all these kind of different settings that you can have from the lens, which is actually like cropping into the chip. It's not different lenses on there, it's just one lens, but still you get really, really cool results from that. And often like you get easier good pictures, which is also I think an element of choosing the camera is, does the camera actually help you take impressive photos that you feel good with? Because some cameras can take amazing pictures, but make it really hard to take good pictures with them. Probably because you need to know a lot more about that, on how to take the good pictures, and others make it really easy and you can snap it in a moment and still have a great shot. Because the camera does a lot of work for you, or is it built in a certain way, or it gives you that kind of look and feel that you expect from that. And photography is a language, basically, and we use it very much today because of social media, and we have these pictures that have a certain style and a certain expression that we like. And for example, the pictures that the GoPro is taking, from the way the pictures look, from the lens and from the distortion and from the wideness of the lens, has a very specific feel to it that a lot of people enjoy, because it has this action, live, like just being in the moment kind of feeling to it that other cameras don't have in the same way. Like I compared shots from my smartphone to which also has a very wide angle, to the GoPro, and it doesn't look the same. It's a very different feeling. Wait, what are the other comments here? By the way, thank you about the comment that you liked the video that I made with the GoPro. And the next one is coming with the 72 hours Barcelona, by the way. I think that today the issue is more on optical issue than camera point of view. I'm not sure what that means. Optical issue? Can you elaborate that? Eric says maybe this is Fuji simulation is in Canon photo style. Maybe like this Fuji simulation is in Canon photo style. I don't also know what that means. I'm sorry. Robert says with, for example, the Fuji X-T20, you can simulate several film simulations straight out of the camera. Ah, yeah, okay, that's interesting. But the question I have for that is, if you simulate first of all, why would you like to simulate a film in the camera? Does it have an impact on the process, how you photograph? Or is it just like applying the style, rendering the photo in that style? Because why wouldn't you do that afterwards and just have a very neutral photo and then like apply these different styles to that afterwards on your computer, and you have the choice of all the different films rather than photographing it in one style, and maybe afterwards you decide maybe it would have looked better in the other style, like you can do with Nick Collection, right? You have a lot of different films in there, or film simulations, right? Chapwin says, I had a Sony A6000 and bought the Lumix GH5S because the A6000 didn't have audio input. Really? Okay, that's interesting. The GH5, this is also an interesting point. What can you connect to that and how easy is that, right? How affordable is it to attach things to your camera, which was the point I made in my video about the GoPro, that the attachments you can buy for that are very cheap because the camera is small, while of course with a big camera, the attachments are very expensive. Also with the smartphone, a lot of the things you can buy for it, like a gimbal, is very affordable, while for a Sony a7 III, the gimbal costs you like 500 or 600 euros, right? There's also cheaper ones like 300 euros, but they can't take too much load, so you have to be a little bit careful with that. But it's still a lot more than you would pay for a gimbal for the smartphone. And with the GoPro, you don't really need a gimbal because the stabilization in camera often is really good for most cases. Not in dark light so much, but in sunny light, really amazing, especially with the max lens attachment, where you can turn the camera like completely upside down and still the picture is straight. The picture cannot rotate if you make horizon leveling, because the lens is a fisheye lens and films 180-degree around picture, so the camera can just rotate with the software the picture, so it always stays straight. You can do the same with the GoPro Max, by the way, in hero mode, not in the 360 mode also, because you're filming 360 anyways, right? Which is also a question that I have for cameras is, why can't I do the cropping afterwards and the picture is round when it comes out or is square when it comes out? Why does the chip have to be like that? In the classic, like, why are we still stuck in an age of analog film when we are not shooting analog anymore? This is one of the questions that really, I don't get. You know, the interesting thing also is when I shoot with my smartphone, it has wide angle, but that wide angle is cropped into the chip, because when I set it to 1:1 ratio, you get a wider angle than with wide angle, which is crazy, you know. And the important thing about having a 1:1 ratio picture rather than this format we have today with cameras is that I can crop afterwards for the different ratios I need for social media, right? Because you can't do that. If you photograph with a Sony camera horizontal, the picture is horizontal. There's nothing you can do about it. That's it. Boom, deal done. And that's not good, right? Because when I have the GoPro with the Max lens, or I have the GoPro Max, I can just, like, I say, okay, a vertical shot because I want to post it in that page, and then I have a horizontal shot because I want to page a photo. Because I want to. Let me think about that for a second. Okay. I post a post on Facebook, I need a horizontal or a 1:1 picture. I post a Facebook story photo, I need a vertical picture for that. And then I want to watch it on my screen. Again, I need a horizontal, maybe even like a wide horizontal picture for that. So you need different kind of ratios. And you should be able to do that with one picture, right? Anyways, let's go on. Getting stuck here on the ratio stuff. So there's a lot of things that go into the question of what is the perfect camera? What do you want to do? That's also a big question, right? Most people shoot all kinds of things because they do holiday, like they go to another country, take all kinds of pictures. They are not specialized in something. Some people are doing only just one thing. They say, okay, just landscape or just portrait, stuff like that. Let's have a look at the comments here. Robert says, sorry, I'm a little bit behind on this. Robert it is a system camera, but you can use a lot of vintage lenses with an adapter. Okay. But isn't that true for every kind of camera that can, like, switch out lenses, that you can buy an adapter? I'm not sure what this follows on. Is this about simulating? You can simulate it is a system camera, but you can use a lot of vintage lenses with an adapter. Okay. John says the camera sensor on a phone is way smaller than any camera today. They have a long way to go. Yeah, that's true. But like I said, it really depends on where you want to show that picture, which is really interesting. And also, we have to take into consideration today that you can upscale with AI, which is also interesting. Like, I feel like we are not that far away from a time where we take photos in a smaller size and then upscale it afterwards to get a better quality, because the AI is so good at guessing the texture of what is there as information that you don't really need a camera that shoots like in 100 megapixels if you can take a 12 megapixel and then upscale it to 100 megapixel when you need it in that kind of situation, right? Like, for example, with architecture photography, if you have a skyscraper from the outside, you can do it right now because there is not much texture on that building, so you can upscale it 10 times if you want, and it looks really, really good and a lot crisper and sharper than the original photo. So it's really interesting, right? Just to say, oh, I didn't know that at all. Hello everybody, I'm joining a bit late. Hi Jens, hi, thanks for joining. Just Dude says, I would still say that it's best not to buy cameras from Media Market. Go to the store that is specialized. To be honest, I usually buy from the cheapest source, which is usually ordering it online on some kind of store. Yeah, I don't know. So Just Dude says, because usually the reason for that is if you say no, you can go to a store, because then you get all this kind of information from the clerk, and you pay a little bit more, but you get all the kind of, I don't feel like they sell hundreds of different models of cameras and lenses, and they can't know all of them, right? So I rather go with online videos on YouTube, and then I download test photos and stuff like that to see, is it the camera that I actually want? Does it do the stuff that I actually want? Stuff like that. And then after I have done the research for myself, so at that point I really want to have the best price, because I did the service on myself already, if you know what I mean. Just curious, can cameras shoot in 16:9 now? It bothers me to have black bars. Black bars? I mean, you have black bars on the screen, on the screen of your camera, but not really on the file, because the file is cropped to 16:9. You can switch, like in Sony cameras, you can switch from 4:3, I think, to 16:9 if you want that. Although I would suggest to use the biggest format, because afterwards you have more leverage on cropping a little bit higher, a little bit lower, which also means you have to crop all of the pictures, but you just have more choice like that. Jens says the question about round lenses is mostly likely a technical one. It's how sensor pixels are addressed when read out. I don't know what that means. I don't think a round lens has to do with the sensor, because you can have an anamorphic lens and that isn't round, right? I'm not sure. But what I mean is like not a round photo, but like a 1x1 sensor, right? Instead of a sensor that already crops the picture in a way that I might not want to have afterwards, right? A round sensor. Oh, a round sensor. Okay. What do you mean? No, a 1x1 sensor would be good, right? If you outputs a 1x1 picture, would be cool, right? Then in for new camera then. A lens issues for sure. Cameras are using high quality sensors and processors. By choosing a camera, you're selecting the set of lens. What? Again, Bernard says lens issue for sure. Camera are using high quality sensors and processors. By choosing a camera, you're selecting set of lens. Oh yes, that's true. You buy into a lens family, which is also a little bit annoying. I feel like they should have something more universal, so you can interchange that. Also because some brands, like for example, this is another question I have about lenses is, why doesn't Canon make a lens that you can put on Sony? Like, is there a law that brands can only make lenses for their own cameras? Why couldn't I snap a Sony lens onto a Canon or Nikon camera? Or is that possible? Do they have does Sony make lenses with a Canon mount or a Nikon mount or stuff like that? Because usually Is it? I don't know. I'm not sure actually about that. But I think if you buy a Nikon lens, it's just for Nikon cameras, right? I don't know. Okay, let's have a look at the pictures you have sent me. By the way, I will make a quick check here if someone has sent like a late entry. I asked you to send me files via WeTransfer. I wanted to try that out because people have asked me for a long time to do that. Not the WeTransfer thing, but the editing your pictures in live stream. So this is what I want to try today. Okay. All right. So doesn't seem like that. I have to open up. I will use Photolab again. And I will do a video where I compare Develop Persona, Photolab, and Lightroom in soon, like I guess probably at the start of next month or something like that, because I realized that if you don't have the direct comparison, it's a little bit difficult to understand why. What is the big difference? What's the big deal? Or why should you use something different than Camera Raw if you only have used sorry, not Camera Raw, Developer Persona so far? Yeah, what's the difference? All right, let's go. Is it? Oh, okay, it has already loaded. So let's have a look here. What does this say here? No, that's okay. That's good. Let me quickly look at the chat here. They do. John says you can get adapters that come from Canon onto Sony. Yes, but I mean without an adapter, because an adapter is always a downside, I feel like, you know? Doesn't an adapter weaken the lens? I mean, like if you... I don't think it focuses as fast or is as good with an adapter, but I could be wrong about that because I haven't used adapter. But I feel like a camera should be like have the exact mount for that camera. I don't know. Yeah, universal connection would be right. But it will cool if cameras had removable mounts. Yeah, also that maybe, right? Okay. So let me switch over to the work view. There we go. So these are pictures you have sent me, and we can have a look on how to edit them. I renamed the picture to the person who sent them, so it's easier to say. And this is just like the start of the email address, like the name, the name kind of thing that I found at the start of the email address. This is that. So if this is not your name, like THK is not the name, of course, but you know who you are. By the way, I can't edit these here because I don't do any astrophotography. So I have no idea how I would edit that. Yeah, I was asked multiple times about doing a tutorial about that, but I feel like I'm really the wrong person for that because I have no idea what astrophotographers are aiming for when they edit it. I could certainly edit it in a way, you know, but not in the way that astrophotographers would enjoy as a result for a picture, right? And so I feel like I'm not the right person for that kind of thing. All right, let's get started. You can see here we have some very nice pictures here, all kinds of stuff, landscape pictures, portrait shots, some flower pictures here from animals, also macro photos. So we can look through that and see what we can do with that. I was thinking about maybe also using Lightroom, but then I decided I'm just going to use Photolab today. I feel like this, for example, is a classic like shot you would do as a black and white picture, maybe, because this is more about the structure than it is about the colors. And there isn't actually much color in here anyways. Okay. Do I really need to have to buy Affinity Photo 2 times if I have PC and Mac? I don't know, to be honest. Maybe? Is it? I mean, you can, if you log in, you get a license key, and you can see, or you get a download link, and you can see if the download link is for Mac or PC. And if in question, I would just mail them the support and maybe explain to them your situation. And then if it's the case, maybe they give you like a second key for Mac or something like that. Let's have a look here on what kind of pictures we have. Like a forest picture. I feel like they are very difficult to edit in a way that gives you a good result. So let's start with something that's a little bit easier. For example, this could be an interesting shot to edit. This one here, the landscape with a guy sitting here. Very nice photo. By the way, this didn't give me any information on what kind of lens it is. It might be a Sigma lens, it might be a Tamron lens. For some reason, it doesn't seem to be in the file. Or Photolab doesn't recognize what kind of lens it is. Show an output folder. Let's have a look here. Where's that? This is the one. Let's look at the properties. Details. Canon 6D. Yeah, maybe it's not in there as an information for the... It says focal length 24 millimeters, but not the lens maker. There's no thing here for the maker and the model. So this is why the software is a little bit confused. You see everywhere whether you have this kind of yellow thing. Of course, I know which kind of cameras, lenses I own. So for me, it's easy to select that. But here it's kind of, I don't know what exactly that is. Also, yeah, for iPad, of course, for iPad you need an extra license because it's a different app. It's the one is an app, one is a software, so that's a completely different thing. But Mac and PC should usually be the same license, at least by my feeling, right? By the way, yesterday when I asked about the software you're using, someone said like it's expensive with Photolab and Nik collections to buy the upgrade every year. You don't have to do that. Like they make some small changes, and if you really like them, you can buy the upgrade. But if not, you can use the same software for many years and use the features that you enjoy about that, and don't upgrade, and only upgrade if you have to. Like for example, I'm still using Photolab 3. I upgraded to Nik Collection 4 because I wanted to see what is new, and it sounded promising. But I'm not sure if I actually needed that. Although I have to say that Viveza 3 is very, very good, especially with the chrominance and luminance adjustment for these points where you can do the brightness and stuff like that. Okay, let's have a look here, and you can still post about the cameras, ideal cameras, stuff like that. So let's check this out here, what we want to do here. Let's go here to customize. And then you have a lot of stuff here on the right side. This is could be a little bit cleaner because in the different, you see here on the right side, you have these different sections. We can close, or let's leave this. You have essential tools, and then you have light, and then you have color. But the thing is that they repeat in the different sections. Which I feel like could maybe be addressed in a better way. Let's see. For example, here you have a tonal curve in the light section, and then in the essential tools, no, you don't have a tonal curve here. Let's see. But there's often things that are double. Like for example, see here you have selective tone and DxO clear view and smart light, and then you go up here and you have the same thing again: smart light, selective tone, clear view. So why have all of that double instead of just having it once and then have everything at the same time? Because it looks like it's a ton of stuff, but actually most of the stuff is repeating, right? So in this light section, let's see. We have exposure here, smart light, selective tone, clear view, contrast, and color accentuation. And then here in the, where is the, wait a second. There's the light. So we have again exposure, smart light, selective tone, clear view, and then a tonal curve. So tonal curve is basically the only thing, and also vignetting. These are the only two things that are new. Is that, I don't know why that's why not just like, you know, not repeat that stuff. Okay, let's have a look here. First, I want to see a little bit about cropping here, because I feel we have a ton of sky here. That might be a bit too much. I think you see here, this is also good. You have this like third grid. I want to put this guy more on the third line, like so. Have a look at that. Let's go a little bit wider, maybe. Let's see, like this. And then maybe move it also a little bit over. So he's more in the center. Like so. Move it a little bit up. A little bit more. There's still this kind of shadow down there. Okay, let's play around with this. And then we can still change it afterwards. Okay, let's have a look here. So in Photolab, you have this really nice thing that's called Smart Light. And that is adjusting the image in a way where you can see not everything is getting brighter in the very same way. It's applying light to the areas that need light, but not to the other areas. You can actually see that the sky is not getting brighter, it's actually getting darker, while the landscape is getting brighter. And these smart adjustments that really, really help you get to great results quicker and easier than when you have to do all of these choices on your own. Of course, you can still do a lot of the choices on your own, but it really helps, you know, and you don't have to do a ton of masking and selecting and all these kind of things. But that also makes the process a little bit faster, right? So down here we have selective tones if we want to adjust that. So we can brighten up the shadows and a little bit maybe, let's see, the midtones. So that already looks pretty nice. Clear view is also interesting to use, but often it's a bit too intense, you see. It has a bit of an HDR look, but we can tone that down. So let's see, maybe like this. And clear view, as you can see, also is a little bit like dehazing. You can look further into the landscape now when you do that, you see? Like this is without it, and this is with clear view. So it does some very nice ways to do that. John says, I use the same key for Mac and PC. Oh, okay, so that seems to work. That's good. Jens says, in Capture One, you can sort your tools in any way you want. That's really cool about Capture One, that you can adjust the UI. This is something I read about it. I still have to experiment with that. I still have to write them an email to send me a review key. That would be great. And I feel like the pricing policy is a little bit harsh for Capture One. Especially, I'm a little bit miffed about that having different versions for different cameras. I feel like, why do you need to do that? It leaves a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest. So this is why, this is actually the only reason why I kind of stood away from Capture One for so long, is because they do that pricing thing for different cameras. And that really hits me on the wrong spot. You know, it really feels a bit greedy to do that. Maybe there's a reason behind that. Maybe different cameras are so different that you need different tools for that, but I feel like not really. Maybe it has to do with the tethering, that because Capture One is mainly done for studio shooting where you have a laptop with you, or let's say it's mainly done for when you shoot and directly preview the pictures on a computer. You can also do that out in the wild, but I don't know. It just like feels like if they wouldn't do that, it would be more, I would have more of a good feeling about the software. It's the best for color accuracy in editing. Yes, this is also what I think. It's kind of a studio tool, and kind of it gives you this kind of advertisement precision look that you want to have when you do these kind of things where you need that precise color, which doesn't mean you always need that, right? Let's go on here a little bit with the editing. So let's, for the temperature, make this picture. Should we do it a little bit warm? You can see like here you can have, I push up the temperature high and you can have like a nice sunset view if you want, even a very extreme sunset view if you want, or you can have like, you tone it down, you get more in the area of a blue hour kind of thing, right? So you can have a lot of different choices. I think like I want to have this a little bit warmer, to be honest. Like this looks good. And also what I like about Photolab is you can push the compare button. This is also something you cannot do with the developer persona. Sorry, my brain is again. You see, I like that because I want to sometimes see what's the before, what's the after, how much did I change it? Is it still in the spirit that I want to have or not, right? So that's kind of a good thing. And you also have this kind of thing where you can zoom in here one-to-one, so you can actually see the details and work on that, because sometimes, for example, if you work with micro contrast and things like that, you want to have more control over that in a 100% zoom view. And then, of course, sometimes also have the complete overview of the picture, right? All right, let's go here. Contrast, turn that on. And you can see also on the right side here, it has these kind of magic wands, and you can click on that, and this will automatically set a value for you that the software thinks is a good idea. You see, so when we zoom in here again, we turn this on and off. You can see this is without it, and this is with it. It's a small change, but you get a little bit more crisper detail. We can also push it up a little bit more. Let's see. Let's zoom out again. Turn this a little bit back. You can also bring this up. Let's bring this up quite a bit and then put the contrast down a little bit. So it's a soft picture, but still with nice details, right? Okay, there we go. I feel like in this case, the guy here could be a little bit crisper from the picture. But still, it's pretty cool. Very nice. I don't think we can do anything here. This feels like it's very much blown out. But I can, let's pull down here the exposure and see. Yeah, you can see there's no values in there. This is just white. So we can't really recover much of that. Okay, anyways. What else should we do here? We can play a little bit. Let's give some vibrancy here. Let's see about that. Like so. That looks good. And then, do we want to have that orange here so strong? I feel like it's not bad because it draws a lot of attention to the guy. But maybe it's a bit too much. Let's see. Yeah, you also have, of course, here noise reduction. If you have the, like they call it the elite version, and then you have this prime thing here, which is also nice. And this does more noise, or a better kind of noise reduction. Let's have a look here on the preview. Like over here, doesn't seem to be very different right now. Yeah, and again, this is doing stuff automatically for you. There's no perfect camera. Yeah, but that's like not an argument, right? You know, like we are in an evolving culture all the time. Culture is fluid, so there's always a different question of what we like, what is good, what is ideal for us, what we look for as like the perfect solution for our problems. So to say there is no perfect camera is not really helping in any way. You know, maybe, like I said, that the phrasing of the question was bad, I guess. But yeah, still. You can still talk about what is the perfect camera for you. So that's basically the question. I should have phrased it like that. I'm really bad about that. Maybe I should ask next time the community what is a better phrasing, and then I get better results. Yeah, I'm just not good with that. Anyways, let's go on here. What else should we do here? We have this color part down here too. This is the light. Let's go here into color, vibrancy. Oh yeah, you see here you have a little bit of camera modes. that you could go into, like camera bodies, color positive film, stuff like that. They have a little bit of a paywall in here, like you just get kind of a preview. But then if you have the Nick collection, you get a lot of different films in color effects. You get a lot of different films. Please tell us what you did mean. Did mean about what? With the question, you mean? Hi Jens, how are you doing? Is there some kind of cooperation with I'm Renzi happening? I wrote him a mail today and we have to figure out what we want to do. So we have an interesting kind of idea behind that, you know? So we have to figure out what it is we want to do as a corporation. I'm looking forward to the corporation, but we still need to have a good idea and set everything up. Well, the question is like, is there a perfect camera that you use? So for what is the perfect camera for you, for your use? And also, like in, not in a general mode maybe, but in a, what will be the ideal camera in your mind, you know? Like there's a lot of things where I think cameras should be able to do that. Like I feel like a lot of the professional camera, or let's not say the professional cameras, because they are built for professional purposes where you do a lot of editing and you shoot very focused on a certain purpose. So it is okay, and they need this kind of bare data that you get out of the camera that is very high quality and pure, because you do the editing afterwards and you do very intense editing afterwards, right? But for consumers, for example, I feel like a lot of cameras are lacking in that department of supporting the photographer with taking the right shots, as a smartphone does. This is why now smartphones, I'm pretty sure about that smartphones are the most used cameras today. And the other cameras are just like, they becoming more and more niche cameras for consumers, not for actual professional photographers, because they have a different kind of workflow and different pipeline that the pictures need to go through. But for consumers, I feel like they don't really like, most of them don't have this kind of like heavy thing with them anymore. They do other stuff now, right? And a smartphone often is like the better choice for that. Why are some of my messages not going up on the screen? If you post a link, that doesn't work, but usually the rest, I don't see any of your messages that are retracted by the bot, that have been hidden from the bot. So I don't know. What about the Blackmagic cameras? But they are video cameras, right? Blackmagic is more like video cameras. Should we do something more here with that? Oh, by the way, we've also split toning. You can't do split toning. This is another paywall. You see, for split toning, you need to have the Film Pack 5 Elite for some reason. I don't know why. That's just stupid. You pay a lot of money to get the Elite version, and then you can't do split toning. That's just money grabby, I feel like. Anyways, let's go on here. What else do we want to do here? Should we load this into Nick collection? I feel like we kind of want to stay with Photolab today, and I feel like this is already pretty good here. We can just look here at, for example, the red here, and then just push this down a little bit from the saturation. Let's see. So we could do it like this, so the guy is less visible. Like you can pull it down like so, and then you look more at the landscape, as you can see. And you can also like have it as it was before, a little bit less, so you look more at the guy. And that really depends, right? I forgot about another thing that you cannot do with the developer persona. This is really cool. Look at that. Of course, in this software, you can do virtual copy. So I can right click here and say, I want to have a virtual copy of that. And boom, this is not taking any more space on my hard drive. But now I have a second version of that picture, and I can edit it in a different way if I want to. And I can make it a black and white picture. I can make it a blue hour picture. Like I can let's turn it like this, so it's a little bit cooler from the values, like so. So I have this, and then I can go with a different. Let's create another different virtual copy of the first one, like so. You see now it's over here. Let's go to customize, and then we go to cropping. Where is cropping? And this is what I don't like about these millions of things here, that it's kind of hard to find what you need. There we go, crop. But I really love Photolab. So don't think like I'm not liking what they do. I really do. Let's see, like for example, this. It's not enough sky. It's kind of it's a pity that this very overexposed part is right on top of that guy. Let's put him on the third here. I mean, yeah, maybe that's not too bad. Let's see. How do we want to do that? We could also, this is not a good idea, because then he's, like, you see, if you crop it like this, we talked about this last time. If you crop it like this, the guy's looking out of the window. He's looking against a wall, because the side of the, not the window, sorry, the side of the picture acts as a wall in your mind. So he's looking against a wall basically, and this doesn't feel good. So if he looks at that side, you have to crop it in a way where he can see something and you can see something. Also, you would feel like, well, I can't see what he's looking at, and that is very unsatisfying as a feeling, right? So that's also not good. Let's make this a little bit bigger here. Let's see. I mean, that's also nice. We can also go, let's go back here and then make another virtual copy, and then go like this. Crop. Whoops. Where did crop go? Sorry. And then you have an aspect ratio here, 1:1, for example. So we can have a crop now that is good, for example, for Instagram. So we can figure out what would be cool there. That might be nice. Let's see, maybe a little bit higher, like so. How do you feel about that? A little bit lower. Let's see. Maybe like this. Is that good? How do you feel about that? I feel like cropping is a science on its own, because you can do so many things and it really has a huge impact on how the picture feels. And I often feel like this cropping tool I should be able to crop it and then afterwards still move it while it is cropped. You know, because when it's zooming out, I get a different feeling about the picture. Of course, I can zoom in if I want to, but that's kind of a different thing, you know. Let's go like this. How about that? This is kind of nice. And you see, this is what I mean. Like, if you have a square picture, for example, you just have more possibilities. Let's see at the chat, 1 second, sorry. John says it comes up in normal chat, just not on your screen. Really? Let me close the screen. The chat message here. So John says, are you sure you're writing in the chat and not just... maybe you're writing a comment instead? Oh. You can have different workspaces in Photolab, really? Palette? Where is palette? If you go to palette, you will see it. Where is palette? I didn't know about that. That's very interesting. I've always used this. Palette? Collapse, dock left, float, height, move up, dock down. By the way, you also have local adjustments that you can do. They are not as good as Viveza, but they are there. For example, we can go in here. Let's go for this, for example. And then I can go to local adjustments. And when you right click, you see you have these choices of what you can do. You can have a control point. You can have a gradient or a gradual filter, as they call it. You can have a brush. And you can also have an auto masking brush. So you can do a lot of things. And so, for example, I can make a point here in that area. And then I can say, for example, I want to have less exposure here. Or I can have a more clear view here to maybe make the sky more dramatic, stuff like that, or for example, make the landscape more detailed. You can see how that impacts the picture. And then you can see, boom, now we have more detail just in that area of the picture. So this is also something you can do with Photolab, which is really nice. And all of that, by the way, this is another point that's important about Photolab. All of that is non-destructive, other than in the developer persona where you click on apply and that is basically rendered into the picture. Here it's non-destructive and the raw file on your desk stays completely untouched, which means you can also open up the same raw file now in a different software and then do the editing process in a completely different way on the same file, like for example in Lightroom. And you have different versions, different kind of looks, different kind of tastes. Like that's very nice. The palette is in the top menu of the program and workspace is next to it. In the top space of the program. Palette. Create user palette. Name, Olivio test. And then what does this do? Ooh. Oh, that is really good. So I can now drop everything in here that I need. That is super cool. I didn't know that. I've not seen that. That's awesome. I will do that tomorrow, so I can really adapt only the things that I need here, because some stuff I never touch basically, or very, very rarely I touch them. Pretty cool. Thank you very much. By the way, let's go on to the next picture. Which is, I kind of feel I want to adjust this one here, because this is also nice. And we have some interesting details here. Like, for example, we have down here, we have some people. And then up here in the tower, we have some people standing around there. I would want to remove that. And I feel like it's a nice shot, but I would crop in a little bit closer on that. So let's work with that. The software is very professional. Photolab, yes, I think so. I feel like, and I feel like it has this kind of National Geographic kind of look, more than, like it has this kind of softer, warmer, more adventurous look to the pictures. Then, for example, like Affinity Photo has a different look, and then Lightroom has this kind of social media, a trendy, stylish look often, right? And also Lightroom often feels a little bit more plasticky, a little bit too perfect, a little bit too ideal, while these pictures feel a little bit softer and warmer. All right, let's have a look here. Again, let's go up here to our smart light. Push this up a little bit. Let's see what we get from that. That looks pretty good. A little bit too bright here. Let's push the highlights down, like so. Already pretty nice. Let's see, shadows a little bit up maybe. Midtones, what are we gonna do with the midtones? Let's go like this. Black values, let's bring that down a little bit. There we go. That already looks very nice. And then let's see, I wanna have more of kind of a thing where we have this more prominent in the picture, because over here we have a lot of information that is not adding too much to the picture, right? It's just kind of, there's not much interesting stuff going on the right side here. And here we have these nice trees and stuff where I just want to see more of that. So let's go down to cropping here. And then just like, let's see, let's bring this up maybe a little bit. How does this feel? Should we go a little bit closer to that tower? Make it a bit more personal, basically. Is sticking too much to the side. Okay. I would also like a software where I can do multiple crops and they shows it like next to each other in the cropping view. You know what I mean? Like I make versions, like 5 different versions, and then it just shows me these versions, and I can choose the one that I like best afterwards. So it's kind of a faster process. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yeah, I feel like we're getting there. Let's go with this. Okay. And by the way, but what I'm often doing is like I prepare the shot as good as I can in, for example, in Photolab. Then I move over to Nik Collection. And then afterwards, I move, for example, if I would do sky replacements over to Luminar, or if I have to do some editing, I go over to Affinity Photo and do that kind of stuff. Like, for example, with the people down here, let's see if we can remove them in a nice way. And Photolab has a very nice tool for that, but sometimes it's not 100% like giving you the result that you want. Let's see about that here. With that person, we also have to remove the shadow, of course. Yeah, that's good enough, I would say. That the last one wasn't that great. There we go. I think that's good enough. We have a head over here. Well, yeah, that looks good enough. Then we have another person over here. Let's remove that person and the shadow. Let's go with the person first. And then also the shadow. There we go. Let's do a little bit here. Yeah, good enough. Okay, cool. Then, is there something else? What is this, by the way? Why is there this strange... Oh, there's a cable here. That's not good. We don't want to have a cable in our beautiful nature shot. That's not good. Oh, by the way, I completely forgot to point out the people who sent me the picture. So this picture is from... I can't see it right now. I thought that it shows the title on the top, but it doesn't. At least I'm not seeing it right now. So give me a second, please. There we go. Okay, let's have a look-see. The last picture was by Hansen. Thank you very much for sending me that picture here. Pretty cool. This one. Thank you for that. So this was the before, and this is what I ended up with. And then some different cropped versions, like for example this one. Again, this is the before, and this is the after. We could put some vignette on that, maybe. I'm a huge fan of vignette, as you know. And this is what we're editing right now. Let's go here. Let's see. Photolab 4 is amazing. What's different to Photolab 3? Photolab is a nice user, has a nice user. Yeah, it's very fast also, which I like. And I also feel like often the fastness, how much you can stay in the flow, has a huge impact on your artistic ability to express yourself, right? What is happening here? This is not working. Let's go back here on that. By the way, sometimes this doesn't work. Now it does. We might have to do that in another software, because this is sometimes a little bit wanky here with the ability to remove things in a nice way. You see, this doesn't seem to work. We can also switch over to another mode, which is the clone mode. No, this is not working either. Let's just select them completely and see how good that works. Kind of. I don't like that edge here. That looks pretty ugly. Let's see if we can fix that. Oh, that was bad. Oh no! Okay, we have to... Sorry for that, 1 second. I just want to remove these guys here. Let's go like this. Come on, please. Please give me some good stuff here. Don't want to waste too much time on that. It's getting worse and worse. Is this removing everything? No! It has removed everything. Are you kidding me? Okay. Sorry for that. I thought it just goes for the last step. Okay, let's do this quickly here. The results are good enough here down there. Oh, there's more cable here. Do you see that? It's got a little bit smaller here. Try to remove that cable here. Oh, come on, please. This is one thing where Photolab is not so great. This is more a job for Affinity Photo. Okay, let's just leave that. And so this is where I jump between softwares, is this kind of thing. Like I said, there's a difference between adjusting pictures and editing pictures. And Photolab is very good at adjusting pictures. And then the editing part you would probably want to do in Affinity Photo. Now, why is this so bad right now? Maybe I should have a bigger... Oh, I'm still in cloning. Wait a second, let's go to repair. No, it's even worse. There we go. This is also the live effect. Like usually it works a lot better. There we go. Let's go over here to that person. Oh. 1 second, I'm looking at the chat in 1 second. This is completely the live effect right now. Sorry, usually it doesn't act that strangely. Okay. Let's just leave these guys in there for now. What does the chat say? Yes, there's presets and Lightroom are great. Lightroom has really great presets, and this is also... Wow, my shirt is translucent today. Lightroom has the benefit that you get millions of presets online, free and paid ones. Often they are not really working with the pictures. You have to go for the better ones to actually give you what you want. But they are a good starting point to give you some inspiration. That's a good thing. We also have presets here, and you can also create your own presets, which gives you a very nice way of copying like one style to other pictures. If you have a series of pictures, you can just edit it in a way you want, and then just make a preset from that and copy it over to the other pictures. Like, for example, we can go here for, let's go here, Artistic HDR, and then you have this adjustment. And that's already kind of nice. It's maybe a little bit too intense. By the way, what is this down here? That's just a shadow. Okay, that's good. You can see way too much detail and stuff like that. And then you can simply go into the adjustments. For example, you can see micro contrast here is turned up to 11, basically, if you know what I mean. So we can turn this down a little bit, and then you get a softer picture. So that's nice. There we go. And by the way, also Lightroom is very good at adjusting different kind of moods, color expressions. Again, it's more digital. It feels a little bit more plasticky, I feel like. So for the color, different color tastes, different kind of color tools, I would go for, if you want to have like the thing from DxO, I would rather go for the color effects from Nick Collection, because then you can create all these kind of interesting, nice color styles with that, right? Should we try that here? Or like, what else could we do here? We can play around with, by the way, I'm not sure if you can here go for, let's go here for that. And we also have a color picker here. which right now I can't see. Let's go for HSL. Am I blind? Usually have a color picker here. Okay. And you can turn this color over to give it a different tone. You can see here for the for our trees, you can of course then set them up with a different color. And you can I really like the way they preview give you like a view on the range that you're adjusting here with these. You see, I feel like this is much more visual than what you have in Affinity Photo of what it's actually taking in that range. In Affinity Photo, you have these 2 points, but not this line in between. And this gives you a very nice idea of what is actually happening here. And then how you can adjust this color. You can see, you can have a look like this, for example. It's very nice. This kind of autumn look, and then also adjust the sky if you want to. Let's go here to the blue of the sky, and you can turn this over. Let's have a bigger range here. You see, and like that, you can also create a little bit of these kind of Lightroom looks if you want to, and then even save them, as I said, as a preset if you want to. So you still also have these abilities and create own presets and your own looks for that if you want to. Let's reset that though. I don't want to have that here. What do you think of Luminar? Luminar, the just Luminar, I'm not a huge fan of that because I don't like the colors you get from that, but I haven't looked at the last version. But Luminar AI I like a lot because it has really interesting, nice colors. Luminar AI, I think it's very inspired by Lightroom from the colors you get and from the way the pictures look. But that's okay because a lot of people like that Lightroom look, that Lightroom color science. And so, sorry for that. That's actually a good idea. That they go in that kind of direction. And it also makes the editing very easy. And they have labeled it in a very smart way also. The different kind of labels and how everything is sorted, right? And categorized for these different adjustments is very easy to use, right? You might like to get fast raw viewer too. It can load 1050 megabyte raw files in about 50 seconds. Wow, okay. So that's a culling tool, I guess, right? Where you select what you want to do, right? Sorry, not what you want. You select the pictures you want to have. What else do we want to do here? Maybe we should adjust the colors a little bit. Let's see. Let's bring down the saturation a little bit for these trees. And then also bring down the luminance a little bit. Uniformity is also nice. This is something you don't have in the other software. And this is what I mean. Like every software has their own kind of sliders. And this is kind of nice to bring these color values closer together or further apart. So that's pretty interesting that you have that, right? That has a huge impact. Where was the thing that we adjusted before? Maybe this one is the better one. Let's bring this over a little bit. No, this is going too much into the green area. And then let's see for the sky. Like this. What about the luminance? We can actually push the luminance a little bit down for that. This doesn't have too much of a... Well, actually, yes. When we push it over here, you can see like here, we get more of this kind of teal look down here at the horizon line. And if we push it the other way, it has more of the same blue as up here. So it's actually better kind of choice. Also with this picture, we can actually look at the different, like, let's have a look at these positive films here. Can play a little bit around with that. Like I said, there's not too many choices in Photolab, but you have a lot of choices in color effects. This is kind of nice. And like I said, this is then you have these kind of analog film simulations. and it gives more of this kind of classic look. And you can simulate a lot of different camera bodies, which is very nice. You can see here everything from Canon, Leica, Nikon, Olympus, Pentax, Samsung, Sony. So you can simulate a lot of different kinds of cameras. Also from like cheaper cameras to really high-end expensive cameras. You can simulate the bodies here. There's also Hasselblad in here, which is nice. Let's have a look at that. Okay, interesting. Let's have a look here at the Nikon. Go like here, D5. Looks like that. I'm not sure what the original, what the camera is that this was shot with. It's kind of nice here. Can also turn this on and off. So that's actually nice. It does a lot more though. Oh, okay, interesting. Right. Okay. Let's go on with this. I want to bring this into Color Effects Pro real quick. And then, by the way, Photolab, when it's doing that, it's making a TIFF copy of that. I think it didn't do it right now. You see unsupported format because I've set it up here so it doesn't do that, which doesn't work then. As you can say process as a JPEG, process as a TIFF. So if you want to save on space on your drive, you can go with JPEG, but I wouldn't suggest that. Go with TIFF. Takes a little bit longer. You can see here also in TIFF you can choose between 16-bit and 8-bit compressed and 8-bit. Again, go with 16-bit if you can. And then hardware drive is very cheap, so don't worry about that too much. Let's go to color effects here. The picture was taken right about noon. I had no chance to change the light situation, harsh contrast and shadows, and we did. Sweet. Oh, 38 degrees. Wow, that was really warm. So this is the picture I'm editing right now that we're talking about. The black and white adjustment in Affinity Photo, yeah, it really works great. Absolutely. Yeah. Also here in these kind of filters, you also have presets, or they call it here recipes for some reason, that you can use, and you have these kind of, you can preview them, of course. The only thing I don't like about that is that you can't like export. I think you can export this actually in the newer version. You can see here save image as, so I can create multiple versions of that. So you have here more of this kind of classic look, which is also nice. And this is where you get a lot of style with the Nick collection in there, where you have very, very different looks for your pictures, which is also nice. And of course you can create your own recipes, which is also good. This is a little bit too dark, but this is the photo stylizer here. And we can still go here for like add a filter, favorites, go for pro contrast like this. And then adjust this a little bit here. There we go. Push this down. Then we have it brighter again. So you can see before, after. So it has a very different look to it. More kind of an analog look if you want to have that. And you can also here can have this kind of split view, which is also nice. That you can do it like this. And this is also something you don't have really in Affinity Photo, where you can just slide over that. You can do it a little bit when you have, for example, the layers that you make a merge to visible and then have the original photo and overlay it with the new photo and make a rectangle that you mask to below. But there's a whole process to get to that stage where you can compare that in that kind of easy way on all the things that you're doing to the pictures. So that's a bit more complex, right? Okay. So let's see. This is a little bit too artsy, by the way. I don't want to do that. Let's go back here. Let's have pro contrast. And then let's see. Colors. Let's go like this. Contrast. Like this. Dynamic contrast. Actually good like that. Okay, cool. Let's see. It's before, after. So that's nice. Oh, and then here you also have these kind of things like, wait a second, Indian Summer, for example, is a plugin here that helps you to create that kind of autumn look for your landscape if you want to. So that's very nice. And then you have this kind of, where is it? Skylight filter and the sunlight filter. The sunlight filter gives kind of more of a dreamy touch to that. So this is more like these kind of artistic expressions, something you don't really have, for example, with Lightroom, or I guess with Capture One, you also don't have that. Also, of course, not with Photolab, because this is right now is Nick collection, but you know what I mean. Can do a little bit of a vignette here. That's way too much. Opacity. Just a tiny bit like that. Okay. And then let's see. Oh, you also have this kind of foliage enhancer here. So there's a lot of different stuff in here. You see, you can set different kind of tastes for the foliage. So this is really addressing more of the, like, yeah, just the green of the leaves. And you can adjust that in the way that you want to. So, yeah. A lot of nice options in here. There could be a little bit more options here from the method, I feel like. But it's a good starting point. But let's not use that right now. Let's delete that. Bring another point in here. Detail extract, we don't need that. Brilliance and warmth. We can talk about that. So let's make the picture a little bit warmer here. And then let's see, saturation, maybe a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, so that's already pretty nice. Do we want to do something else? Let me see. By the way, you can also add fog afterwards, right? They also have like gradual fog. They're graduated fog, as they call it here. And then you can rotate that to the down part here and adjust how much this should blend into the picture. It's not a very nice fog, to be honest, because it doesn't have a lot of structure in it. It's more like a soft, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't fit here. The overlays need to have more structure in that case. Let me see. Oh, I wanted to show you the analog films. Is that, wait a second. I think that's not, no, there it is. You see, film effect, modern branded, and then you go on here and you have a ton of different films. You see, Fuji Chrome, Kodak, and is there even more? I can't scroll right now. Maybe that's it. I thought there is more, but maybe I'm... Yeah, but you can go through all of... And this is what I meant. Like, why would you do it in the camera if you can do it in post? And then decide between all of these films and get kind of the right look for the situation when you have a screen in front of you where you can actually see how that looks for your picture. Although I don't want to do that here. Oh, did I remove too much? No, I think that's okay. Let's go and save this real quick. Okay. Good, let's have a look here real quick. It's a little bit softer than I like it to be. Selective tones, clear view. 1 second, detail. Sharpen. Yeah, so we get it a little bit crisper here. Okay, maybe a little bit less. There we go. Okay, and then let's zoom out here. Let me see at that Exposure compensation, a little bit brighter maybe. There we go. Vibrancy, a little bit back. There we go. Okay. The reason is because when you're actually taking the photo, you can see the simulation rather than thinking of the look in post. But I'm still not sure why you would want that when you shoot the photo. Why not have a, like, I get kind of the idea that you have a preview of how it would look, but can you shoot it where you say save it as the preview and then also save it with that style but also the raw picture at the same time, like you get a JPEG with that style but then you also have the clean raw photo, because that I would understand, because often on the camera it looks so much different from what you want to have in the what you see at home at the screen, right? On the little camera screen, because these camera screens are often not as like good to preview a picture, because you have what is what I want to say here? You have a lot of light that's conflicting at the side. You have the sunlight around, your reflection on the screen, all these kind of things, while at home you can sit at a darkened room and actually see how that picture looks like. So let's do some editing here for that. Let me see if these tools are good for that. If not, we can use Viveza for that. I feel like I want to use Viveza for this. Let's do this real quick. I can maybe, should I brighten it up? We can actually do that also in Viveza. Let's do that real quick here. So for this, I want to have this kind of autumn look. I want to go a little bit quicker with that one. What's the stream time? There we go. Still looks good. So let's go for Viveza 3 here. Yes, in Canon you can do. Oh, that's interesting. That's pretty cool, actually. See it in the moment also, black and white. Oh, that's interesting, yeah. Like a preview, like I said, like a preview is a good idea. Where it just gives you an idea of what is going on. Let's make this brighter, give it a bit more contrast. Then I want to have a bit more structure, not too much. Let's see, for the shadows, let's bring them up a little bit, make everything a little bit warmer. And then let's see, saturation, let's pull this down a little bit. And then let's start to set these points here. So we have our control points here in Viveza. Let's set one here in the screen. And then give me a mask preview. I set up the luminance just mainly for the sky. Chrominance, that looks good. Okay, and then we can play with these values here. So let's bring down this contrast here, have more structure in the sky. So we have a bit more drama, bit more contrast maybe. Shadows, let's see, let's bring them down a little bit. Yeah, let's keep it like that. Oh, that's too much. So let's see. Let's put one over here. And then we will copy this over to have these points also over here. Let's put it down there. So that's kind of nice. We can compare this to before and after. And you can see how quick that is. That is what I really like about that kind of adjustment you can do in these tools. That you have a very, very nice and quick workflow for that. Let me see if we make this bigger here. Yeah, we can go like that. And then just copy these points over. So let's have some more structure here on these trains. And then also some more saturation to highlight them a bit more. And then again, I hold, sorry, that was the wrong. I hold Alt, and then I can copy this over to these other parts here of the train, like so. And just like that, we have created a nice, very visual train. I feel like down here we need a little bit more in that. Come on, there we go. You see? Boom! In seconds, we have this kind of edit. And this is what I like about that, right? So that's a good starting point. Is there anything else we want to do? We could clarify that back here, but we can do that with the local adjustments. Let's hit apply here real quick. And then let me see. When we go to customize here, and then I go here to local adjustments, let me check really quick when we do this with the brush. Make the brush a little bit bigger. Paint here on that area. And then we have clear view here, and just make that area a little bit clearer. Maybe we want to have a like a selection brush here. Let's see, auto masking brush. Sorry, let's try this. That's better, I guess. And then let's give me a second point here. Make this a little bit smaller. For these areas, clear view. There we go. Missed a little bit of spot over here. There we go. Feel like that's good. Good enough for now. Yeah, you can see. So we have made this a little bit more cleaner in the background. Let's go back to our library. And you can see like this is the, this is the before shot and this is the after. So that's a very, very quick process, right? Okay. And then let's go to color effects. This creates another TIFF copy. Let me see. Oh yeah, it works like a LUT. Is it like a LUT? In the case, in the sense of LUT, like this should be something also cameras have more. Like I have to actually check that out, but I don't think you can load LUTs into the Sony a7 III. I have to check that out. I don't know for certain, to be honest. But that would be good. But you can have external screens where you can load LUTs, and you can just attach the screen to the camera, which also gives you a bigger preview, and then you can load LUTs or other kind of overlays in there, other kinds of things that give you a better view on what is going on. Let's go here to Indian Summer. And that's pretty cool. The only thing I don't like is it doesn't pick it up here in the background, apparently. But we can still go with that, I suppose. And then, I mean, we can do some adjustments later on. Yeah, I want to do some additional adjustments here, also for the sky. But the effect is already good. Let's go here and see. By the way, I need to have Indian Summer as a highlight here, as a favorite. Sorry. Let's go for Pro Contrast. Where is that? Pro Contrast. There we go. Color casts. Dynamic contrast. Yes, that's good. Correction, not so much, please. Little bit of that. A little bit of that. Okay, good. And then, oh, by the way, photo stylizer, we can look at that. No, that's not good. Skylight filter. No. Brilliance and warmth, where's that? There we go. Let's warm this up a little bit. Saturation. Okay. Perceptual saturation, by the way, also here. This is also the things, you know, and this is also like always when I use different software, the thing is that you have these sliders that point out things to you that usually you wouldn't even think about. Perceptual saturation is an interesting concept on its own when you think about that and what it means. And then from that, you can learn on how you would edit different shots differently in other software tools, right? Because then you're like, oh, okay, yes. There's not just overall saturation, there's also the way you as a person perceive saturation, right? So yeah, it deepens your understanding of how to edit photos. Let me think about tonal contrast. No, we can. No, that's not good. Reflector, no. Where's that thing that I'm looking for? Let's go to all here. Sunlight. Is it sunlight? Let's see. Yeah, sunlight. Color temperature. Brightness. But that's overdoing it. That's not good. So let's not do that. Okay, so this is already pretty nice. I feel like that's okay. Let's save this. By the way, these are destructive if I do these kind of things. Okay, let's go back here and then customize this again, make it a little bit warmer here. Okay. Let me have a look here at local adjustments and then paint in the sky. Whoops, sorry. There we go. Midtones, let me see, vibrancy, saturation. The white balance is only, it's only supported with raw images, and this is now a TIFF image, so we can't do that here. We can do local sharpness, but we don't need to do that. But we can go with clear view, maybe. Okay, good. We can have a quick look at cropping here. 1 second. Simon from Huntington. Hi, Simon. Thanks for joining. Crop. There we go. Why am I not seeing the crop tool? Okay. Strange. Auto based on keystoning. Meh. Didn't do anything. Let's see. 16 by 9. That would be 16 by 9 like this if you want to have it as a wallpaper. Woo! Why did it change? Let's go like this maybe. Boom. Stretch it out. That's very compressed. Okay, anyways. Let's go with the original. No, unconstrained. Let's go here. And then just crop a little bit from the top here maybe. Let's have a look at that, how that looks. Nice. Okay, let's go back here and then just have a look at the... Where's the picture? There we go. Let's make a virtual copy here and then just make another crop 1 by 1 because of course you want to have your good old Instagram shot too. Like so. Where's the vignette? I really have to set up the, let me see, intensity. This, by the way, this is another thing that you can see here that the vignette is not following my crop. And this is something you have in Lightroom, for example. You have a post-crop vignette, which makes a lot more sense. But I feel like this is, let's leave the vignette out for here for now. All right, there we go. So we have this as a picture. By the way, let's maybe highlight that. And then also let's go in here. Although we have made a vignette on that, but let's also make a virtual copy here. And make a 1:1 crop for that. Boom. 1:1. Let's go like this, for example. There we go. Okay, let's also give this 5 stars. And then where was the other picture? This one here. Oh, also give this here 5 stars. And then this here. So we can switch through these pictures. And then also this here. Okay, cool. The favorite source of free images is Unsplash. Do you have the best choice, I feel like. And also with Unsplash, I can be very certain that that is actually this from the actual photographers. So this is the starting photo, and this is where I ended up, where, as you can see, I made the train very visible. I turned it into an autumn picture. I made a more dramatic sky here. We have some God rays here, but you can't see that. You could maybe work them out more in Viveza, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But I feel like that's a nice atmosphere in the picture, and also like points out the elements here that you have, and these playful colors that you have, like looks a little bit like these children playing blocks. Have a lot of like they tune in very nicely with the autumn atmosphere. And you can see how much of a difference that makes. And this is like, for me, this is another thing we will talk about, I think, in the next. Like, let me know in the chat if you like this kind of discussion format where we talk about topics, if that's a good idea. And then next time I would rather talk about, I forgot, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, is a photo, should it be closer to what you see at the place or what you imagine the photo to be? Because there's also right now a discussion about how much can a photo be manipulated, and should it be marked as being manipulated, and in a shot, especially if it has people in the shot, stuff like that. Of course, personally, I like the editing more than... Let's face it, reality is boring. This is why we want to escape it. This is why we go on a holiday, or we want to have adventures, or we want to watch Netflix or play video games or stuff like that, because it's giving us an alternative of what is out there. And I feel like a photo is where you want to capture the world as you want it to be, not as it is. Personally, it's my feeling, right, towards pictures. Especially also because you don't have the choice on, often you don't have the choice on what weather and what kind of situation you will find when you take the photo. And I might come to a place that I really enjoy, but it doesn't look as good as it should be in my mind. And so, like with this one, you have this picture, but you actually, in your mind, it should look more like this. But what are you going to do? Like fly back there half a year later just so you have an autumn picture, and then you might not capture the right day with this kind of situation? I feel like it's good to be able to create your own like impressions from that, right? Anyways, let's go on. Should we add another picture, or I mean we are always almost at 2 hours. But let me know how you feel about the discussion format. Let me filter this here real quick, so we only have these kind of photos that I edited. Oh, I should also have marked the. I should have marked the before pictures maybe also. What is the before picture here? Well, let's make this a little bit smaller so we have a better overview. Is this the before picture? Wait a second. No, this is, oh, I don't have a before picture. Let me make a copy here real quick, create a virtual copy, and then can I move this up here? No, I cannot arrange this on my own. Okay. Well, I don't really need that actually, because we can just click on the compare button to see that. But we can discuss this next time. The image shouldn't be manipulated too much. But what is too much? It kind of depends on what you want. But let's save this discussion for next time. Anyways, let me see. Okay, so as you can see here, so this is the first one I edited, and let's go a little bit over the reasoning here. Like, of course, I want to have a nicer light and brighten up all these stones. So it's important to see these stones and the structures, because that's what that is about in the picture. I wanted to have a medium balance between looking at the guy and looking at the landscape. So you're not like just looking at the guy. But he's a little bit like bright with the orange, so that's nice. You have a bit of drama in the sky, but not too much of the sky as in the original crop or in the original shot. I removed a little bit of that. I wish the sunlight wouldn't be that big in the way it's overexposed, but that's still okay. But then you have a nice expression, a nice flow, and look into the landscape. Also, as you've seen here, I dehazed that later part here, the more distant part of the landscape, so you just can look further into the landscape, so we can follow the view of this person here more. And then, of course, we have different crops that we can use in different formats, like here, like the square edit for Instagram. This is the next one. This is the, do we have the original here? I'm not sure. 1 second. Nope. Oh, because this is the TIFF version, so we don't have the original. Let me adjust that real quick. I think this is the original, right? Yes. Okay, let's have a look here. So this is the unedited original. As you can see, it's very dark in the foreground, very like it's kind of underexposed. So very dark, and you have some details like the people down here that are removed from the shot. Not completely. I would do the rest in Affinity Photo because it just gives me better tools to do that. But just brightening everything up, and then I created a tiny bit of a vintage look here. With this, as you can see here, it's more a little bit of an old school look from the colors, a little bit warmer also, and a bit of vignette that makes all of the picture more center focused, so you look more at the tower, and the how can I say, the awareness is focused a little bit on the center part. So in this case, you can see the light and the situation, the landscape is flowing out of the window on both sides, not the window, sorry. Out of the image on both sides, and if you have a little bit of vignette, it's pushed more towards the middle because our attention is more grabbed by the brighter parts of the image, and so it's a better experience, you know, because it feels rather flat and rather like spilling to the sides, and this is more gives you more kind of this intense, a little bit being sucked into the landscape kind of impression for the editing. And then again, we have this crop here for Instagram. ideally, I would make another vignette for that is following that shape, because you can see here we don't have that kind of vignette, but it's still kind of okay. And this is the last one where this is, we don't have a before again, sorry. Let me adjust this real quick. Let's go here, and then we have this, give it the 5 stars, then we go back here. All right, so this is the original. Is this the unedited original? Yes, this is the unedited original. Oh, you see there's also some lens correction applied to that by the software automatically, so that's nice. You can see how much that changes the picture. Yeah, and it's just like very much changed too, and a little bit cropped also. Have I cropped that? Yes, I have cropped it a little bit, so there's not too much sky on there. And so the train is just standing out a lot more. This kind of it and plays together better with the colors of the train and the colors of the trees around that. It's a little bit intense. It's a little bit candy-like, but I feel for this kind of situations, more kind of this kind of dreamy situation, that's nice. I would fine-tune the colors a little bit more. And also maybe reduce some of the colors here in the background, to be honest. We can actually do that real quick. Actually, let's make a virtual copy here. 1 second. Let me get in here and then create a virtual copy. And then go to the developer persona again. And let's see. Let's go down to the color tools. 1 second. There we have the green values, as you can see. Let's desaturate them. And let's see how that works, how well that works. Not too much. Again, this is, for example, this is an area where Lightroom shines, because Lightroom has the ability that you click right on the spot and then just drag up and down on the screen to adjust the colors. So this makes the flow a little bit easier and faster. Is this maybe already black and white here? Maybe it just feels like green, but I feel like, I don't know. It's kind of strange. Let's pull everything here down. This is not picking up anything. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong thing here. Okay, now it works. But oh, there we go. Now it's taking these values up here. Let's see. Let's see. No, it's not really making a difference. It's making a tiny difference, but not really useful for the moment. Okay, anyways. Good. Whew. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's that's good enough for today for the editings. I didn't, of course, edit all of the pictures. That would take too much time. But I hope that was an interesting insight. Let's switch over to the talk view again. There we go. All right. Let me pop out the chat so I can see what you're writing. There we go. What is the other comments? Jens says, as your brain is always manipulating your perception, in my opinion, a picture should show your imagination, not necessarily the reality. That's also a very interesting point. Yeah, everybody sees the world different, even if you might see the same thing with your eyes. Still, you have a different perception of things and a different history, a different past, a different culture behind you that makes things appear in a very different light to you, right? A good example is nature. Like, we find that nature is beautiful when we go to a forest or we go to the sea, and we like to go walking in the forest and trekking, and we want to go swimming in the sea. But in the past generations, where this wasn't a nice experience and you had all these kind of dangerous animals and stuff like that in the forest, you wouldn't just do that. You wouldn't go swimming. You wouldn't go to the forest for a walk, because it was just like a place where you get killed by these animals, right? So this kind of lovely experience we have now with nature is a kind of modern perception of nature. It hasn't been like that in the past. So yeah. And of course, also today, you have a lot of areas where you can't just do that, right? Like, I would never, ever dream of in Asia going just into a forest for a walk, right? On my own, or there's a lot of different animals that I don't know. Anyways, let's see. And of course, cultures have also a lot of impact there on different things. Lens correction is impressive. Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. It's really, really good. By the way, I'm super extra impressed with the 14x24 Sigma lens. And I'm waiting for the cashback. I hope they bring around the cashback at Black Friday or stuff like that, so you can get that lens cheaper. And I took some test photos. I have the impression there is no like distortion from the lens. In the camera, the pictures look like just pictures, not like a fisheye picture. Although you get a super wide view on that lens. I'm very, very impressed by that. Ronan says, Diana and I get a QNAP NAS. Has anyone used the programs from Synology and QNAP for AI sorting already? AI sorting? What? I've never heard of that. Interesting. QNAP NAS. I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's kind of a storage. It's kind of a how do you, an NAS, right? Like a backup solution for AI sorting. Synology. Let me check that out real quick. Auto rotation is also nice. I really like what Google is doing with photos. If you have like Google to upload your pictures, it's automatically like key tagging them, right? Keywording the picture. So you can just enter any kind of thing into the search, anything you want. You can just write bridge or clouds or cat, and they will find the photos for you. Not all of them, it's not perfect, but a lot of them. It's really, really good. The only thing that it doesn't seem to have is when you say show photos of me. That's kind of, I don't know why that's not so easy to do, because it does like, it recognizes people, but if you say show photos of me or show my photos or show selfies of me, that it doesn't understand that you mean you. You have to probably enter your name or something like that. Waiting for Black Friday. I want to buy the 7. Hey, let's talk a little bit about what the things are you want to buy next. That's also interesting. You want to buy the 70 by 200 2.8 by Canon. I was also thinking about a tele lens, but I think I crave a wide angle lens a lot more than a tele lens at the moment. Because I like that larger than life thing, and I'm really missing that at the moment. This kind of perspective distortion you get from a very wide angle lens, and that way big room that you get, right? I really enjoy that. Yes, I have used the Synology programs. Okay. Thank you for the wonderful editing. You're welcome, Monty. I hope that was interesting. Let me know. And also the discussion format. Next time I have to phrase the question a little bit better, a little bit more open, probably not great at that, but let's see. But overall, I thought that was an interesting stream. And now you also see the pros that I go through when I adjust pictures. And because I use Affinity Photo mainly for all of the things where I do editing and where I do a composite and where I do like extensive work on the picture, but adjusting the colors and the highlights and the shadows and stuff like that is often better done in programs like Photolab or Lightroom. And I mean, when it comes to this kind of more artistic looks, like cinematic looks, analog looks, stuff like that, then Affinity Photo again is really good. But this kind of basic adjustment, especially to get the maximum out of the RAW, I think the main thing, what is the biggest element of RAW, is the dynamic range, and you want to have a software that is extremely good at bringing back highlights and enhancing shadows, and also this kind of clear view dehazing kind of thing that really brings a structure and a texture into the picture and gives this depth where you can look into the room, into the picture, and really open it up for the viewer. These are the main elements that I feel like a RAW picture gives very, very much room to do that, right? And then all the artistic stuff, all the editing, where you manipulate the picture afterwards, all of that, Affinity Photo is really, really good for that. But RAW development, I think you should have a really, really good tool for that. Because you can turn a really crappy picture into a really nice picture. And it helps you not only in the way that you can edit your photos afterwards, but also in the way you can take the photos in the first place. Because if the software isn't supporting you in bringing out the maximum of the photo that you have taken, the range of how you can shoot a picture becomes a lot smaller. This is a very important part about that. If you can save a lot in post-processing and bring out a lot out of the picture in post-processing, it just opens up so many more possibilities of how you can shoot, in what kind of situations you can shoot, how much you can recover from a very complex light situation, from a very complex shooting situation, and how much of a personal expression you can bring into the picture. Because when you have all these, especially through structure and light, you tell a lot of story in the picture. That is a very major part of photography. And often the situation just isn't there to do that, right? And this is what the software can do afterwards for you, right? And by the way, I feel like also, if you look at a lot of very good photographers, you will see that their best shots are taken in a situation where they position the camera in a way that the light situation isn't as complex, because then they just can do more, especially if you look back at the analog photography, because it just wasn't possible to do these things back then. And also, like, look at Netflix, for example, at the videos. You will rarely see, for example, if people are filmed inside of a room, inside of a house, that they also film the windows at the same time. They always shoot inside of the room, or when there is a window, it's covered by a curtain or something else is in front of the window, or they have blocked the outside of the window and then have artificial light shining in. That is a lot softer and a lot less bright than the daylight would be, which of course you can't do as a photographer unless you have like rented out the place to do that, right? Yeah, so, and to get these abilities, you need a software that can support you in that. So that's an important part about that. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat. I'm holding a monologue again. Okay. Let me see. I've used, thank you. You're welcome, Eric. Monty says, next I buy Luminar AI. Luminar AI is also really good. Like I would suggest to invest also a little bit into different kind of software tools, so have you a bit of choice. You don't have to upgrade them with every kind of iteration that comes around, but just to give you some good tools. And I feel like Photolab, for example, is a good starting point because it's not as expensive for the professional skills that it gives you, compared to, for example, Capture One, which is very expensive. And if you don't upgrade it and you use it for several years, then the price is coming down the longer you use that software, right? So if you use a software for 5 years and you spend $100 on that, that's $20 per year. I mean, how cheaper should it get? You know, it's your pictures, it's your life, it's your experience and your art expression. I don't feel like $20 a year is too much to spend on your complete artistic range of expression, right? That's still a good value, right? Of course, it always is a bite where you feel like, oh man, there's another thing where I need to spend money on. But well, that's I still feel it's worth it, especially if you get such a bigger range of what you can do with the pictures afterwards. Like your shirt. Thank you very much. I bought that in Thailand. After Barcelona, I brought out my Thailand kind of Hawaii shirts again to get some more summer feeling back again, right? I would like to buy, sorry, I jumped over something. Roland says, when Vidian and I plan as next is a bit in the future. Next year, we will buy a case Thermaltake W200, and from there we'll buy 2 full PCs based on next gen Ryzen and AMD GPUs. Oh, interesting. What is a Thermaltake W200? What is that? So you're investing a lot in computer hardware. Oh, that's a computer tower. Okay, interesting. It's like the housing for your computer. Interesting. So you want to upgrade your hardware for editing the pictures and storing them. Also very important, right? Also, backup solutions are very important. I use Backblaze myself because you can upload as much as you want, which is great for me because I also do videos and they have a lot more data than the photos. And you can go like tons of data, no problem. Right now I've uploaded, let me see, how much do I upload here? Right now I'm at 2.8 terabyte, which is okay, to be honest. It's not that much. Oh, and oh my God, it still has to upload 50 gigabyte on data from my Barcelona trip, where I had, I think, 80 gigabytes because of all the videos I also took. So that's interesting. Jens says, I would like to buy more old lenses like the Helios. I have to show you something. Wait before you go. What is it called? A 0.95 lens. I'm so thinking about kind of getting that. But it would be more like a fun lens, but maybe it's really cool. And I have read in a photo magazine that it should be a pretty good lens. I can't find it right now. There it is. Wait a second. I will show you in a second. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. That is a 35 millimeter 0.95 stop like aperture lens. Crazy. And these Laowa guys, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. They are apparently famous for really strange lenses, and I think the way why they are somewhat affordable, like still $900 in dollars is a lot of money. I think in euros it's like $600. Is because these are manual lenses, as far as I know. They don't have autofocus. But I mean, if you have a lens like this with 9.5, I'm sure you would pay over 2,000 from a good brand if you even get that from any other brand. I'm not sure if actual, like, you get a brand lens with that kind of. Let me see. Is there like lens? Wait a second. No, you see, this is f-stop 1, which is also good. 50 millimeters is 1,600. So that's double basically, right? Almost double. And there's an holy crap! There is a Nikkor lens, and it's 0.95. It costs 9,000 euros. Holy crap! Okay, so this is how expensive that is. I'm pretty sure this one has autofocus though, but wow. Okay, that's crazy. And this gives you a very extreme bokeh, of course. So for portrait shots and stuff like that, let me see if we have here some pictures. Is this? Yeah, this is photographed with that. Imagery source. Is there some... Let me see. Dude, really? Do we not have a nice preview here? Oh, there, now it's big. Look at... Oh, did I zoom in? Oh, this is zoomed in. Anyways, this is good enough for the live stream. Look at that. Look at that nice kind of bokeh and softness and everything. Of course, like the picture is not as great as you would have with a really good lens, but this kind of very like extreme bokeh on a portrait can have like a really interesting effect. So just for that kind of effect thing, that might be an interesting lens, especially if you do a lot of portrait photographing, right? But I would still say it's more like a fun lens than where you have like special effects. Can I not find any good photo here of that? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of good. Oh, this is actually from their product page. Can I not make this bigger? And you can see how her face here is sharp, that area, but then the hair already has a ton of bokeh, her shoulder. Look at how much bokeh you have on the shoulder here. And then also the background, the hair is also already in bokeh. You see how like here it's sharp and then the tips are already like super blurred. So that's really interesting. You can get like really nice atmospheric shots with that. Yeah. All right, anyways. Let's switch back. Boom, there we go. Where's the chat? I'm debating buying Photolab 5, but I don't know if it's worth it. Photolab 5? They just brought out Photolab 4, right? They already have 5 out? What? What is going on? They pumped this out like chicken eggs. Supports Fujifilm X-Trans files. Okay, that's good. In a beta version. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna update. Gonna wait more. Because I'm pretty sure it's again only just like small improvements that they're adding to that. Control over viewpoint technology. So let's see. I guess they are. Oh, you can't see that, right? I guess they are. You see, like chroma range, luma range. Of course, they added that now. But this is like I feel like they are biting themselves a little bit because Nik Collection with Viveza 3 can do that. So, by the way, as you have seen with Viveza, you can do a lot of the things that Photolab can do on its own, like the combination of Viveza and then color effects. You can do a lot of the stuff that Photolab can do. So if you want to save on money, you can actually just go with the Nik Collection and don't buy Photolab. Photolab is nice because you can see, you can do these virtual copies, you can organize the files a little bit and rank them and stuff like that. So that's also pretty cool. But if you want to save on money, maybe the Nick collection is a good starting point to get all of these functions in a very good way, even more advanced than Photolab does. And then you can also use Nick collection standalone. You can use it as a plugin in Affinity Photo, which is nice. And you can use it also standalone as a software. So there you have a lot of options for that, right? And also the newer version of Nick collection supports that it's non-destructive. So you can go back on these edits to do them again, right? And it creates a TIFF copy of the file, which of course takes a lot of space on your hard drive, but still you have a copy. You don't have to touch the original RAW file, which is always good that you can still preserve the original file. All right. Anyways, I think that's it for today. We don't hear Belusa. Belusa is sleeping, I think. He's sleeping right now. All right, that's it. Hi, I would like to buy more of old lenses like the Helion 44. I highly recommend the channel of Mathieu Stern about retro lenses on modern cameras. I will check that out. I will copy that over real quick. There we go. And then I will check out his channel. Pretty cool. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. It was really cool. I really enjoyed that stream. And then see you soon in my next stream, right? Bye.